Another martial art video, part 2. So, as I was saying, I took a back burner to all the fist fighting that I learned. When I started learning martial arts, I combined the shit that works from fist fighting with martial arts. Because in Kung Fu, the real simple difference is your block and counter. That's it. For karate, it was always clench fist, block, counter, but you'll have to counter because they're countering because they have two hands. With Kung Fu, it's block, counter, get to the outside. Alright? So it's boom, I'm on the outside. When they throw the punch, I've already blocked it. I've countered it by breaking at the elbow. I've slid up the outside into the throat, or I've slid on the outside under to the free-floating rib or the liver. Something that's going to bring my opponent down as fast as fucking possible. Alright? Check the time. Sorry, like I said, I'm having a really rough birthday. Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys this, and then I'm going to go back in the house because it's almost time for Days of Our Lives, which means it's almost time for me to give it a go to hell work. So, when you're in a street fight versus MMA or UFC, MMA and UFC, that shit's very controlled. It is very liable thinking. Right? And the reason why it's liable thinking is when athletes get hurt, athletes are going to need time off to heal. They're going to need time to recover. They're going to need time to make sure that they got their shit back together so when they're training, they're not training hurt. You can't train when you're hurt. I don't give a damn what nobody tells you. You can be an ace all you want. But when you train while you hurt, you do more damage to yourself. And if you're training, like you got 6 fights in a year, alright? If you get hurt severely in the first fight, those other 5 fights very well may come off the table, whether you're gung-ho about it or not. But if you have a good recovery time and you heal fast, I guess probably won't be an issue. But you're going to have to go through some red tape. It's the same thing with wrestling. When you get injured in wrestling, they're not letting you back in that ring until you get a full checkup and a full recovery because they don't want to be liable for your fucking health. Fist fighting, UFC, and all that shit, there's no different when it comes to sports entertainment. When you're fighting in the streets, all that liability shit, it's just something's gonna happen, And I tell people all the time, it's harder to train when you're hurt than when you're not hurt. Trust me on that one because I haven't been able to train in damn near 4 years. I just recently started retraining, which is why there are now more martial art videos here on Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Not that anybody's watching, but there you go. When you are in a fight to begin with, you need to know quite a few things. Not just the rules of engagement, but when the fight starts, you need to know how to hit somebody with your fist. You need to know how to hold your hands when you're throwing that punch. You also need to know that hitting someone with everything you got can do more damage to you than your opponent, because your metacarpals in your hands are very, very sensitive, which is why when I tell people about martial arts, and they're like, oh, well, I can break a brick, I can break a board. Yeah, I'm sure you can. You can also break your fucking hand. Which is why I don't think that should have anything to do with martial arts in general. Plus, to quote Bruce Lee, bricks don't hit back. So you can break a brick. You're strong. It doesn't mean you're good at fighting. It just means you're strong. Keep that in mind, because you can be really strong and still get your ass kicked. I've beaten a lot of people bigger than me who were really strong. Alright? And I say that because it's the truth. Everybody's bigger than me. Everybody. I'm 5'3", dude. I'm 5'3" and a half. The military didn't even count the half, so they had me marked under 5'3". So 5'4" in my boots though, if you want to count that. But yeah, 5'3". So when you're fighting someone that's bigger than you and stronger than you, you have to have more fucking knowledge. You have to have knowledge of human body mechanics. If you don't know shit about what stops the person from breathing, you're gonna be stopped from breathing. If you don't know shit about where your blood arteries are to control your movement, someone's going to stop your movement. Now, if you take Kempo, then you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about, because Kempo is based on a system of your body points. Every block is a strike, and every strike is a block, but every block that is a strike is specifically designed to hit a person in a specific spot to stop the functionality of that body part. Alright? Little knuckles in here, or a little praying mantis jab, it stops the ball joint, it stops the rotator cuff, which kind of stops it or makes it harder for you to throw that punch, because if you're hurting right here, it's going to hurt when you throw that punch. Alright? It's the same thing can be said with the knees and the hip bone for someone throwing a kick. If you know enough about the human body mechanics, you don't have to be a great martial artist to stop a great martial artist. And people don't teach you that shit because they want your dough. So, there's like 5 or 6 damn star points in the human body that can stop a person. I'm not going to show you them. I've already showed you at least 2 already, and you just probably wasn't paying attention. But like I said, if a person can't breathe, they can't hurt you. You have kill zones. Now, a lot of people who teach martial arts do not call them kill zones. I ain't going to sugarcoat shit. I call them kill zones because that's exactly what the fuck they are. Now, you have your martial artists and some on YouTube who are going to sit here and say James Williams Jr. has no fucking idea what the fuck he's talking about. Much like that ass fucker yesterday who tried to discredit me. And again, I tell you, if you have not fought those people that you are discrediting, you should probably shut the fuck up. It's just me being nice and angry. The thing is, in any fight, it doesn't matter if you're a good fighter. It matters on how tough your opponent is and who makes that connection that breaks their toughness wall. You get hit in the gut right, you're a great fighter, you're still going down. You throw the wrong punch, you break your hand, you're a great fighter. Now you're one-handed, and the other guy has one. You're going to keep fighting instinctively with that broken hand. That's just a matter of fact. You're going to keep fighting instinctively with that broken hand. But the more you use that broken hand, the more damage you're going to do to that broken hand, which goes back to what I said about if you're a UFC or MMA and you got fucking 6 fights on the card and you get fucked up on the very first fight. Those other 5 fights are guaranteed to probably be taken off the card. Because if you don't heal right, UFC and MMA are not going to let you back in that ring. It's the same thing with the WWE. It's the same thing with any other wrestling thing. If you're hurt, you're hurt. Be hurt. Don't try to rush shit back so that you can get hurt worse. And then the company will be like, well, we're going to let you go. We're dropping you because of the simple fact that you lied to us, you wasn't cleared, and you came back to work fucked up. And then we had you do an event that fucked you up more. Now we got to pay that. We got to pay for that. We got to pay you. And then on top of that, we're going to fire your ass so that we don't have that shit happen again. Trust me, it happens. You talk to some of these athletes and they'll tell you, if you go in and you're not cleared and you do that, hell, the company actually can sue you for that shit because you decided to do something stupid with your career. You don't want to do that. If you're hurt, be hurt. Don't let pride lead your ass to getting crippled because that's some stupid shit. It's one thing they told me while I was in the Army because I didn't want to go to sick call because I knew it would be the end of my career before I could begin it. And it was. It was definitely the end of my career. I didn't know how bad I was hurt. Straight up and down. They said it was my knees. I believed them. And even though I wasn't supposed to train, I trained anyway with our soldiers. We did the push-ups. We did the exercises while I was in Bravo. The only thing that they would not let me do was compete in combatives. That was it. They let us learn the kicks and shit, but they wouldn't let me specifically compete in the combatives. Then I had an incident. I went to Delta Company because I had an incident in Golf Company. And they found me a new home. They found me in Delta. And until one of my battle buddies from one of our platoons fucked up, and 2nd platoon had to run to the Tree of Woe, and I re-injured my knees. The problem was, it wasn't my knees. Fort Benning, Georgia dropped the ball. It's my fucking hip the whole time. So everything we're doing to fix my knees was destroying my hip. But I did not know that. And they did not know that because the doctors weren't all on the same page. And McGuire found it, which is why I can walk, which is why I can kick, which is why I can walk. And they really dropped the ball. And my dumb ass not knowing anything because I'm not a doctor. You can give me a piece of paper and I can read it, but that does not mean I know what the fuck I'm reading. Especially when it comes to medical shit. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school to learn how to be an actor. Alright? I already know how to fight. My acting skills might need a little bit more brushing up, but I already know how to fight. That's not a problem. I've been fighting since I was 6. But what I didn't know was about certain things and proper body mechanics. Alright? This is why I'm telling you this right now, because if you get hurt in these things, you're going to be hurt. Proper body mechanics. You have 365 pressure points in the human body. 250 will kill you dead. I know at least 250 of them. Can't tell you which ones are the ones that will kill you dead because I'm not trying to kill anybody. But I know how to immobilize you with the ones that will kill you. Alright? Like these ones back here, I can tell you about, because they hurt like shit. Alright? And you have a whole line of them. Just these ones are the easiest to get. These ones aren't that bad. And then there's like one in here that you really have to struggle to get. So there, you just got your free lesson on some very fatal spots. And in Kenpo, they teach you wherever there is a joint or an indentation, there is a pressure point. Which henceforth, you have 365 of these motherfuckers, unless you're one of those odd people who have 366. Alright, so the thing about getting hurt, when you are hurt, you need to be hurt. Don't try to be like Wolverine and think you have an accelerated healing factor and you're going to heal and fight the next day. No, that's not how that's going to work. It's not. You know, you have to live in reality of when you are in pain, you are in pain. I live with pain every day. I can't sit for 2 hours without being in pain. I have to stand. So if I have to get a job, it has to be a job where I'm allowed to walk around and stand. I have to take periodic breaks because I can't stand more than 7 or 8 hours myself at a time because of my hip replacement, which is supposed to be the opposite. But my hip replacement like totally works opposite. I can't sit too long. So when I did those other demonstrations, I actually really did have to get up because I'm in pain for the first video. Now, I can tell you now, as a martial artist, you know, you have to take care of your body. Your body is your temple and you have to treat it as such. You have to treat your body as if God himself comes in and out of that temple every day. When you get hurt, you have to heal. If you don't heal properly, you wind up like me. I didn't know how hurt I was until McGuire got a hold of me because I thought I had an ulcer. I know you're thinking, how'd you get on that? How'd you get off of martial arts? How'd you get off of wrestling and martial arts? I'm getting right back around to that right now. The thing is, when I was training and I wasn't allowed to train while I was in profile, I was only allowed to do certain shit. When the sergeant took my profile, he said, okay, you can't do setups because we bend our legs and we sit up. You're not allowed to do that. You can't do Russian twisters because you sit like this. You're in a V shape and your body has to twist. And your legs also have to come in and kick. And you're not supposed to do that because you're not supposed to have your knees bent. But you can do push-ups because we were a team. So when they had to do shit, I did shit. And the sergeant was like, look, we are a team. We're a family. And you're going to do something. So you're going to do push-ups. Now, we're not going to make you do the push-ups with your legs sticking way up in the air because we know your legs fucked up, but you're going to do push-ups. And I was down. I was the oldest guy in there, so I accepted my fate, you know, and I went on with that because I was 37 and everybody else was in there was barely 30 years old, if that. I was older than 2 of my drill sergeants. So, by the way, thank you guys from Bravo. At least Robinson and Schultz. I was older than them. I wasn't older than Robinson. I was older than Schultz and White. I don't have a lot to say positive about Schultz. But White and Robinson were probably the best 2 drill sergeants I had when I was in Bravo. And all 3 of my drill sergeants in Delta Company were awesome. Especially the first sergeant, Marisco. We were the same age. So, that was fun. Anyway, moving on. When you get hurt, you're hurt. And the Army knows that better than anybody else. Because I sadly was a sick call ranger, not by choice, but by design. And then the Dr. Love, who was making me do all this shit, who was also a vet, he says, I know you guys are in pain, you have to muscle through. Williams, I don't know why you keep trying to play like you're tough as nails, but you gotta do what we tell you, dude. And he got me duck walking with the rubber band between my legs and all this other shit. And I was like, dude, okay, I'm doing what you say, but I'm still in pain. He's like, yeah, we don't know what the problem is. We know it's your knees, but we don't know what the problem is. I said, man, I've been through harder street fights than this shit. And he's like, yeah, but you're gonna do it our way now. That's it. Now go get on the bike. So now I'm spinning on the bike for like an hour or 2 cycling, which is tearing my hip apart. So I'm still training. I'm just not training. I'm in rehab. And then when they finally got me off profile, I had an incident in Delta. Not Delta, excuse me. An incident in Gulf, which sent me to Delta. So that's how that happened. But when you get hurt, you are hurt. You need to be hurt. You need time to recuperate. You need time to heal. Because if you don't, and you jump from one pain to another, and you get hurt somewhere else, your other injury is also going to be affected by whatever the new injury is. And don't think that it won't, because it will. That's why I need a second hip. Because my other hip was overcompensating for the hip that was fucked up that we didn't know was fucked up. My other knee was fucked up because of the knee that was fucked up that wasn't fucked up because of my hip, and we wound up doing more damage to both of my knees and my hips because I was hurt. But I didn't know I was hurt. I didn't know how severely I was hurt. Had they been following through, they could have medical discharged me right then and there. You know, they should have medical discharged me right then and there. Because of all the things, when I joined the Army at 37, I have fit more than most of the 20-year-olds there. These guys was going home with stress fractures and shit. I didn't know what the fuck a stress fracture was till I got in the Army. Now, back to the martial arts, fighting and getting hurt. Same thing with wrestling, fighting and getting hurt. When you are hurt, your body needs to recover. If it does not recover, you are only going to make things worse for you. And I say that because carrying 300 pounds on my back every day when we did rucks and when we did GFT and when we did rifle drills, it only added worse to it. So when I was at the hospital, and yes, there'll probably be a third video now that I'm looking at the time. When I was at the hospital and my father and I were sitting at McGuire and we thought that I had an ulcer. And the doctor comes back out and says, well, we have good news, bad news, and worse news. I said, okay, well, how much time do I have, and do I need to like start writing a will and stuff like that? And my dad's looking at me. He's like, "Damn, James, you might want to cut back a bit. You're like barely 40. Why are you thinking you're gonna die?" When the doctor comes out and says we have good news, bad news, and worse news, how else are you supposed to take it? But at least as a soldier, they have prepared me for death. You know, they've told me, you know, they're infantry. 9 times out of 10, someone in this room ain't coming home. So while you getting to know all your brothers here, you need to know that y'all are infantry. Y'all going in first. You're coming home last, if you come home at all. So, you know, doctor goes, well, the good news is you don't have a bleeding ulcer. The bad news is you need an emergency hip replacement, and you need it right now. And the worst news is you need a second hip replacement. My dad broke down in tears, and I thought to myself, I thought this was bad news. I thought I was going to die or something. And then the worst news came. You have to go get that chipped tooth removed, and I got an implant for that. Hi, Zeta. And then you have to get all your wisdom teeth removed because we won't touch you until you do that. And I'm like, okay, why do I have to do that? They said, because if you don't do that, you, young man, are going to die on the table when we cut you. And I'm sitting there, I'm like dumbfounded like a motherfucker. I'm like, what the fuck does my teeth have to do with you putting a piece of metal in my ass? And it's like, 2 things. Let me pull out the picture first. So the 2 things were, he said, first off, you're going to die on the table from this thing called infection. And infection is very, very bad. Infection can kill you. So, here's my implant that I'm supposed to be wearing. You know, until I don't wear it unless I'm going to meet chicks, because, you know, they really can't see it. You know, not really. And then, you know, the stated facts. This is the big ass metal steel stick that goes through my leg and my femur. So there's also that extra that they had to add a screw there, so they had to add extra shit. So when you are hurt, you need to be hurt. You need to heal. You need to heal properly, or you can kiss your ass goodbye. And it can really ruin your career. A lot of wrestlers and MMA fighters' careers end because they were too macho to realize they were hurt. And when you are hurt, you need to be hurt. Because if you aren't hurt and you do not heal, you can do more superficial damage to everything. And you don't want that. And this video is 20 minutes long, so I'm going to have to make another video.